Today I'm going to show you how to put African violets in rocks. In nature, African violets grow in granite, in between granite, and they get their roots in there and they are really happy that way. So I went to a place called Moody Gardens on Galveston Island, and the horticulturists there are amazing. They were super informative and really helpful because I had to ask them. They had African violets growing in the crevices of rock formations that were in the pyramid with the rainforest. And I learned a lot when I went home and started researching it. And I thought, hey, I'm going to try it. And I did. And this is working really, really well. But I had to figure out how to get them to actually stick. So what I did is I found rocks that already had natural indentations. And in fact, I found this piece of sandstone. And I was like, I don't know if it'll work on sandstone, but it did just fine. And it already had some holes and crevices in it. So I thought, let's try it. You can probably tell that I've used sphagnum moss, but I didn't just use regular sphagnum moss. I used sphagnum moss that comes in these long sort of strips. And the reason I did that is they're a little easier for me to control. So what I do is I take my little African violets and I create a little nest for them, and I use garden wire, or floral wire I use floral wire to wrap around it to hold the sphagnum moss, but also to make them moldable, so I can mold the shape of the African violet's root ball and make it fit into these little crevices and holes and press them in so that they actually take the shape of the crevice or the hole, and it gives them some flexibility. I also always give them about once or twice a month, depending, some African violet food to help take care of their roots and make sure that they're continuing to grow and that they're happy. And I make sure that I never let them get too dry. African violets do not like water on their leaves. They do not like to be super wet all the time, and they generally like to kind of dry out between waterings. So I try to be aware of that. And when I'm watering those that are in the rocks, I tend to just dribble water around the sphagnum moss so that it is dripping around the rock. And that seems to help me kind of control how much water they're getting. Let's do this thing. All right, so first I'm going to take this itty bitty teeny tiny little baby. Now I started her with some root stimulator and just this one leaf. And this is just a little cocoa coir pod that the roots have grown into nicely. It retains a good amount of moisture, so I'm not going to have to worry about it completely drying out, but once the sphagnum moss is dry, then I go ahead and I water it again. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to moisten the sphagnum moss with just a little bit of water. I'm going to use floral wire because it's really, really fine, and I'm not going to use it tightly because I don't want to do anything that can constrict the roots or damage the plant in any way. So basically, I'm going to be wrapping this really, really loosely around to create a little, I don't know, package. And then I'm going to use that to insert into the crevices and these little holes back here. I choose to use the sphagnum moss that comes in these sort of little long pieces because it enables me to wrap them around better than just trying to make a big wad of sphagnum moss. But I am going to start wrapping my wire super gently around that sphagnum. I'm starting to have a little sphagnum diaper. Right now I'm going to begin really gently kind of squeezing her and making the wire compact that sphagnum. I'm not squeezing hard, I'm being super, super gentle. I thought I might put it down in this hole at the very bottom, so let's try it. And I'm squeezing that wire so it'll help me form the shape that I want without damaging the little teeny tiny baby plant. Her leaves are going to grow this way and go toward the light. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff some more sphagnum moss in this area to retain moisture for her. And that wire kind of basket that I made is part of the reason why they don't fall off. Because once they're on there, you know, this isn't really a hole, this just had a deep curve to the rock like this. They stay. Okay, little baby. Yes, I talk to my plants. Good. A little bit extra. And now it's time to give her a little bit of food. I'm just going to get right here. But there we go. And that is how you plant an African violet in a rock. Have fun gardening, guys. Check out the next video and don't forget to watch my garden tour videos too. Bye!